Well, hello, this is Rosa, rcgkreations. How are you doing? We're bringing to you today a cooking item. We're going to be making sausage and potato soup in the crock pot. So what I've already done is I took some breakfast sausage, it's not really so much breakfast sausage, it's just regular sausage. And buy whatever it is that you have. I don't know if you buy a hog or whatever, grocery store. We don't have any chickens, we don't have a garden, so everything we buy is through the grocery store or a local farmer's market, but they're not really very local for us. So you just grind it all up. Now, I did it in this little small but deep pan because I want to show you, and I'll bring it close in just a few minutes. Oops. This is just my cutter. It's a meat cutter, so it cuts up the chunks of ground beef, pork, whatever it is, the ground stuff, so it's not big old lumps, because you want it as small pieces as possible. Okay, and then of course I do mine at a medium low, kind of a medium heat, just so it doesn't really scorch. You don't want the bottom of it to scorch, but if it does, just get your spatula, spoon, whatever it is that you're using, and scrape the bottom of the pan so you get all those juices and all that, because you want all those in your stew for more flavor. Okay, let me bring you closer so you can see what I'm talking about. I'm going to raise this up. Oh, okay, it's up as high as it could go. Bear with me because I'm trying to raise this up for you. Okay. I'm moving the camera so you can see that? And then over there I have my onions. You want to cook the onions just translucent. You don't want to cook them. You want to just cook them until they're translucent. Okay? I'm trying to angle so you can see the whole thing. Because I got up early so I can go to work. And this could be in the crock pot the whole time that I'm at work. Okay, so now what I do, because this is already cooked, to save time, because I'm trying to stick my videos at 15 minutes, I went ahead and did this already, because all you're doing is browning your sausage is all you're doing. Okay? Now I'm going to drain it and have a strainer with a bowl underneath it to collect all those juices, because I'm going to throw them away once we're totally done. I like to just get a clean towel and wipe the grease so it doesn't get stain the outside. See how pretty my outside of my pan is? This thing is 4 or 5 years old. But that's what I do, because whenever you drain your food, and if it dribbles, then because the pan's still hot, it stains your pans. So you see how it's all been scraped out? Let me make sure I'm in there. Oh, hang on. I'm using the new camera that lets me see. I'm going to flip the screen over so I can see what I'm doing. Okay. Okay, I'm in. So now you can sit there and see how clean that pan is. You can scrape all that out, but I'm not going to. Now I'm going to go ahead, put my onions back. If you had a bigger pot, but you know what? My theory, you use what you have. Don't go buy new unless you can afford it and you have it. But if not, just use what you have. So that's why I have this, and I cooked the onions in a little bit of olive oil, or you can use avocado oil, whatever oil that you have. Remember, use what you have on hand. Now I'm gonna turn my heat back on. I wish I had a bigger pot, but I don't. I could have done all this in one pot, but oh well. Just more dishes I gotta clean. Now I'm just gonna heat a little bit of that. Then I'm gonna bring my sausage back into the pot. It's pretty much drained. And I like to look to make sure there's not a whole bunch of dribbles, because I don't want to get that on my floor. And then I got more mess to clean. Now I'm just going to pour all this back in my pot. Try to get all the meat you can. I'm going to go on the other sink so I know that's where I get to wash my dishes. Now I'm just going to stir this around. You want the onions and the sausage to mix and kind of simmer, cook a little bit. We're not going to do this very long, just a few minutes. Because the sausage is already cooked. Okay, well that does that for a few minutes. I'm going to bring you over. What I've gotten is some homemade chicken broth. And then I got a can of bone broth. And I mixed the chickens. I think I'm going to need 2 versus 2 quarts. Because my crock pot's not really, really big. And I did open it up on the little fryer lid. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to angle you to the crock pot. So that's the next phase, okay? Let me turn this around so I can see where I'm at. Sorry for the move. Oops. Okay, good. I'm here. I'm bringing myself a pot holder so I can lay this pot because it's hot and I don't want it to mess on my counter. My counters are, they're not granite or stone or nothing. They're just laminate. So I'm going to put all my sausage in here. And you see how this is kind of sticking? Scrape it. Scrape all those juices out of there. Alrighty. I think I may have made too many diced potatoes. I'm not for sure. I'm going to start off with my small jar. I'm going to add a little bit of the broth to this pan because I want it to soak up some of those fat juices from the sausage. Now I want to put my quart, which I'm pretty sure it's going to fill the whole thing. Yep, it did. Alrighty. Now I'm just going to give this over here. What I'm doing is I'm giving this a little stir with my broth in that hot pan, just so it soaks up some of the juices. And can you see that? Oop. Let me turn so you can see. Yeah, you can see that. See? See how it's taking it up? I'm going to let this soak. If I had room, what I would have done is put some broth. This is really what you should be doing. Is put the broth in with the meat and the onions. And let it soak up a little bit while it's on the heat, but I didn't have room for anything. So while that's coating and soaking up, I forgot. I'm going to add one little bay leaf. I'm just going to do one. And then I'm going to put some peppercorn in it. About a tablespoon of peppercorn. I don't do exact measurements. I know I should, but I don't. Then you give that a big little stir. Make sure it's all mixed up. And then you want to give it a... Oh, I forgot. Let me put this in here. See how all that's the juices from the broth and the pan are in there? That's why you want to drain it so you don't get a whole bunch of the fat. Fat's good, but it's not that great either. But it's got a good flavor to it. And stir that up. I'm going to do a taste test. picking up a great big old teaspoon instead of a regular small spoon. Sorry about that. Now you want to taste this because this is what you wanted to do. Should you add salt? I try not to add salt, pepper, or any other seasonings that you think it may need. And I'm just doing the broth. Ooh, I don't need to add nothing. When you do cook your own soups and stews with your own broth, you don't need to add anything. Okay, what I've done is I already had and chopped up my potatoes. And I don't like splatter, especially because I'm on my way to work. So I'm just going to drop the potatoes in here. And if I have a little too many, that's okay. I'm going to put this in a bowl of water, cover it up, and this will be potatoes for another meal. Because I think I chopped up too many for this pot. Because you want to make sure the potatoes, plus they're going to make its own juices anyway throughout the cooking time. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on low. My light is on. Stir this around. Because I want to make sure it's all the potatoes, everything is inside here. So you want to do a little stir. Stir that around. Whoops. Just made a big splash. Yep, I got way too many potatoes. But that's alright. I still have time before I have to go. I got 5 minutes before I gotta go to work. Yep, way too many potatoes, but that's okay. I just want to make sure it doesn't go too far to the top because it's gonna, as it cooks, it's gonna bring its own moisture, so it's gonna add liquid to your soup. Soup, stew, whatever you want to call it, soup. I call it soup because it's pretty watery, and I want it watery because we're in Texas, Houston, Texas actually, and it's supposed to be in the 20s later tonight and tomorrow. So this is going to be dinner for tonight, and lunch for tomorrow. Okay, I'm going to get those, put them in a container full of water, put them back in the fridge because I got to go to work. And this is going to sit and simmer. And then when hubby gets home, I'll have him double check it. Make sure everything's over. I always like to make sure, especially when I'm gone and I'm leaving an appliance on, make sure the cords are not touching anything. I already unplugged everything else out of my outlet, so nothing's in here but that. That's just me. Okay. Put my other stuff away. I'll bring you back when we get to that last phase later this afternoon when I get home from work. And then we're going to do a taste test. Okay, we'll bring you back. Okay, I am home. Just got home from work. Stirred it. Now I'm going to scoop me up a scoop. And I'm going to bring this up close to you. It smells really good. I wish you could smell it. Let me have myself some broth. Oop, forgot my spoon. Do you see that? Yum, 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 yum. Okay, let's do a little taste test. Let me get some sausage. I didn't find the bay leaf, but I gotta get the peppercorn out. I personally don't like to eat the peppercorn. It's only there for flavor. Let that cool off because I know it's hot. Ooh, it's still hot. Really good flavor. Really good flavor. I tell you people, if you don't make your own broth, y'all need to because it's not even close to comparison to the store-bought stuff. I thought I had some store-bought, but I have some in my pantry. Because I always keep some store-bought broth because you should never know. Things happen. Plus, it's always good to donate if you don't use it yourself. But thank goodness I do my own. Anyway, that is my take on a sausage potato soup. You can always put some, I think it's cornstarch, I think is what it is, to thicken it up if you want to make it more like stew. You can always add some veggies to it. But since hubby and I are not too much on veggies, we're going to save that for another batch. And I was able to put the potatoes in a container full of water. And I'll decide later tonight on what I'm going to do with it. Because I got to do something with those potatoes. Either I'm going to leave them in the water, cook something with them tomorrow. Or I'm going to drain them, freeze them, lay them on a cookie sheet, freeze them individually so they don't get all clumped up. And we'll save them for another day. And just label them unblanched because those potatoes are not blanched. Okay, that way I'll know to cook them right away with something. Okay, thank you so much for watching. We catch you in the next video. Have a good night. Don't forget to hit like, comment, and share. And don't forget to subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Take care. Bye-bye.